But hey, let's talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I've been playing it. Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I've broken 50 hours.
Oh, you've only just broken 50 hours. Because we're in like the same spot-ish, aren't we?
Keep in mind, one, I took like a week off for Rollerdrome here. And two, I've just decided, like, you know what?
Mainline.
Let's just mainline this story.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I'm like ready for it to be over. So I'm in chapter 6.
Okay.
I guess this is kind of a spoiler. By the way, we're not gonna talk about like any narrative spoilers. We might talk about like structural spoilers. So be warned.
I think this is important to know before going into the end of chapter 5.
Correct. Like, again, not like narrative spoilers, nothing like that, but just like structural, like how the game is structured stuff. Do you know how many chapters there are?
7, I think.
Yeah, so I thought there were 10, and I was getting to the point where I was like,
yeah, I'm sorry. If it was...
Maybe we may need to make some decisions about our time, Peter. But the fact that there are 7 means like, okay, well, now I'm in chapter 6. Like, I should probably just finish this. Let's talk about chapter 5 without spoiling the ending of it. There is let's say lengthy section of cutscene where a whole lot of story shit gets explained, which, I mean, it's like an hour and a half, maybe.
Yeah.
maybe even pushing 2 hours.
Yeah.
And like, while yes, a lot of really cool story stuff happened, like to the point where like I almost thought like, oh wait, are there only 5 chapters? Because this feels like the finale.
Yeah, except minus the major characters involved, but like...
Yeah, exactly. But it was the sort of thing where I was like, oh, I would be fine if this was the end. With how deep it goes. But it's been so long explaining all this stuff, and there's still a bunch of stuff where I'm like, I don't really understand some of this. But yeah, so I was playing it, and we were sort of talking about this like before we started recording. It was like 11:30, and I was like, okay, so this big story thing happened, and I'm not gonna end here for the night. Like I do want to resolve this little plot point here. And so I sort of said like, well, I'll play until I get control of the characters again. You know, like wandering around the open world. And then it was, so I said like, I made that decision around 11:30, and then I went to bed around 1:45.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, mine wasn't a night situation. Mine was like, all right, I got up early. I'm going to play some games, and then I'm going to get to work because I have a lot of work to do. This was today before the recording.
Oh, it was today? That's today. So funny.
And I was like, all right, I set an alarm. I came back in to take my dog out. I'm like, half hour, that's it. So I get to this part where it's like kind of the end of the big boss battle kind of thing that you're dealing with. And right when I was about to, like, I was chain attacking, and my alarm went off as the half hour was done. And I was like, all right, perfect time. And then the cutscenes happened. And then the story happened. And then Claire was like, can you just like pause the game? And I was like, well, yes, but at this point, I like need to know what's gonna happen next.
That's the thing too, right? Like it's like I should go to bed, or like I should go do whatever else. But it's like I'm invested enough that like I need the resolution of this now.
Yeah, and
otherwise I won't have the emotional impact.
And I gotta say, some of the choreography for these fights are like just sublime,
stellar.
It is
anytime
so awesome.
It's like a real cutscene. Anytime it's like an actual cutscene
when they're wearing their actual outfits, not like the clown outfits you put on them.
Yes, anytime it's like, oh, he's wearing the red jacket. I'm like, oh shit, something's about to happen. Anytime it's a real cutscene, it's so well choreographed and well shot and stuff like that. And those actually come up more often than you'd think, like in a lot of the hero quests and stuff.
Yeah. But man, the story gets to a point where it is like I'm like
on my feet, like
cheering to like looking at the screen and like getting like really sad.
Yes.
Like this, there has to be an award at the end of the year for best montage in a video game because this one's gonna win.
Agreed.
Like there's like so many like, oh, it's so good. But like, boy, when I made the comment about how this game doesn't respect your time, I really didn't understand how true that was until this moment. Like,
although did you get to the point? So there's like a save spot halfway through the chapter, the cutscene.
But Peter, if you stop at that save spot, you are just not a human being. Like, how could you?
Well, that's the thing. So that came up, and it's like, do you want to save your game? And I was like, I do. And then I was thinking like, and you know what? Maybe that's a good play. And I was like, oh, this is probably like halfway through what's happening right now. This is halfway through what's happening right now. I'll say this, man, it's good shit.
It is pretty good. So at this point of the game, I got to admit, I'm a little getting tired of the combat. I need it, and that's mostly because I'm really overleveled, and I try not to be. But like the problem with me being overleveled by just this much, it means that I'm not like updating my classes enough. Like I don't like level those up enough. The most of the battles are pretty easy, though there was a really hard battle at the end of chapter 5 that changed up the mechanics of how you played it. That was like I was way I was way over level the boss, but like because they changed something with it, I was like, oh man, I don't have the right group for this, so I had to like rechange my loadout and everything, and was able to do it then. But it's still like it gets me. It wastes so much of my time in the best way possible.
But that's the thing, though, right? Like, there was this long. Let me see. So I tweeted out. So I did a review, and I talked about this last weekend of on GameSkinny for this. I gave it a respectable 8. And I tweeted out when the review came out, I said, back for another review, this time Xenoblade Chronicles 3. This is a very flawed game that I like very much, and if people are willing to get past its obnoxiously long tutorial, I think the chances of them falling in love with it like I did are high. And so I had this decently long conversation with one of the editors I work with, Giovanni, and then someone responded to him saying, where is this? Oh, man. Beans. Someone else responded, another games journalist responded to something that Giovanni said, where he basically said that like he feels the exact opposite, that the tutorial was the best for him because he really liked learning new things in video games. Then once you sort of learn everything in Xenoblade, like you've kind of learned it all. And so someone else responded by saying, this is the main problem with basically every JRPG and an overwhelming majority of open world games. They tend to stretch 15 or so hours of content across 60 hours. It's always super fun for a while, and then suddenly the idea of playing 10 more minutes is nauseating. And like, I know what they're saying. I disagree, because like for me, with Xenoblade, there's more going on than just the combat. You know what I mean? Like I think that like undersells like everything else that video games are. Like the exploration in it is great. Like going in and like seeing the different beasts is great, and like finding the new classes is great. And so like that's the thing, right? Like the combat, I'm similar spot, right? I'm like, all right, fusion attacks, all right, chain attack, but the big fights are awesome. I mean, all of the big boss fights are really awesome, and then like that story though, like it just gets me back for more. I mean, have you gotten to like this ice zone yet?
No, I literally ended the cutscene and I stopped when I had control in an open world again.
Gotcha. The next place you go is an ice area, like it's like a mountain area. And it's the sort of thing that for me is like, it's something I felt like with Elden Ring a little bit, where I was like, and we've got a whole new area here, huh? You know, like...
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing a whole new sort of falling action of the story. Like, maybe I would like to go directly to the next part
Story beat.
Yes,
yeah.
like... and I get, for the pacing of it, you got to go up and down. But maybe I am ready for this game to be over.
Yeah. I think I'm feeling pressure because my schedule's getting busier in my life.
Me too.
That I want to beat it. And with more games that come out, like again, I'm totally fine spending 10 hours on a weekend playing this game like I did, but like that's 10 hours I could have been doing multiple other games, and the fact you do that every single weekend. Again, I said this before, this is the kind of game that if I had a lot of time in my life and only one video game to play, I'd be super stoked and happy with this. But I don't have time. I don't have, well, I guess I have the ability to play more games, but like it's just like I need to find out how it ends.